Hey, it's your girl, Nat Bullen. Welcome to today's training. I am so excited about it because this is something that I have always known, but this is something that is relatively new in terms of things that I've taught or things that I've discussed. And so the objective of today is to be able to separate your business finances and the ups and downs and possible inconsistency that happen with that and your personal finances. So, the number one question I get around money mindset is how did I change from an employee mindset to a entrepreneurial mindset? And the answer is I never did it. I've set up my business to mimic a real job as much as possible because I need that structure for my nervous system. I need to know when I'm getting paid and I need to know how much I'm getting paid. Okay? Um Me and my husband both contribute financially to our household, so I can't just not care about the money or not know when I'm going to have money coming in. By the same token, I cannot treat my personal finances the way that I treat my business finances, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. So, first things first, you got to ask yourself how much volatility can you handle? If you're watching this, the answer is probably incredibly little. Okay. Especially if you are a black person watching this, we have ancestral trauma that has been passed down to us genetically. And we are still dealing with remnants of slavery and being completely out of control of our own bodies, of our spouses, of our children, having our rights stripped away from us. That's something we still carry in our DNA that will likely take generations to eradicate, if ever. So I want you to be aware of how much you can tolerate personally. Natalie cannot tolerate. I have no clue when I'm going to get paid. I have no clue when unapologetic wealth is going to pay me. That would not work for me. So I have created systems to help level out that uncertainty. And I will tell you what some of those systems are. And then in future videos, we'll go in depth. Okay. So, first things first, your personal finances are the monies that you need to take care of your household. Okay. That could be your mortgage, your car note, kids' school expenses. It's anything day to day, your groceries, your gas, your nails, your hair. Speaking of which, did my hair not come out fabulous? A little commotion for the hair. Okay. Um, so that's for you. Me, I like to pay myself once a month. My mother, Annie, was a school teacher. Her father, John Henry, was a school teacher. John Henry's mother, Mary, was a school teacher. And Mary's father was a school teacher. And Mary's father's father was a slave. So I come from a very long line of educators, and educators in Alabama get paid once a month. Good enough for them, it's good enough for me. So I pay myself every month on the first. I know I have money coming on the first, and that gives me such a sense of peace and calm because it's always the same amount. Now, Unapologetic Wealth is an LLC that is taxed as an S corporation, and that means that technically Natalie Bullen, as an employee of Unapologetic Wealth, as such, I get a W 2 and I have access to a 401k. Notice how I've set up my business damn near how Wells Fargo had me set up as an employee. That's good for my mental health. That's good for my nervous system. If you do not require all of that, that's okay, but you need to know what kind of person you are. And a lot of the stress that people have around finances is because their financial systems are not set up in alignment with the way that they are. I'm a nervous Nancy. Nervous Natalie, I guess, huh? I can't deal with volatility, not knowing where my next paycheck is gonna come from. That would drive me nuts because I'm meticulous about paying my bills and I have excellent personal credit. My personal credit scores range between 740 and 760. Ain't no way I'm gonna have creditors and I don't know when I'm gonna be able to pay them. So setting a reasonable salary, that's something I did through my accountant. But you know how much you need to get paid. You know how much your last job paid you. So that's usually, people usually don't have a problem with, Natalie, I don't know how much to pay myself. Here's the issue. The issue is in the business. And a lot of us have never understood how to forecast, how to budget, or how to plan. If you're watching this, you likely have a bookkeeper, and your bookkeeper, hopefully, is giving you monthly financial statements, a balance sheet, an income statement, a profit and loss statement. And while those statements are amazing, you absolutely should be getting your financial statements. They don't help you with the future because they're focused on the past. So, right now, you need to know how much money you're going to make next month. You need to know what you are expected to bring in from your accounts receivable. And accounts receivable is just funds that have been allocated to you, but you have not received them yet. For instance, let's say you have a client on a $24,000 contract. They're paying you $2,000 a month for a year, and they've made 3 payments. You have 9 additional payments of $2,000. Do you have that in a spreadsheet somewhere? All of the money that's projected to come into the business, and that could be from payment plans. That could be from deals that are inked that haven't been paid yet. This is stuff you got a contract for. If you have an MRR model, a subscription model, sometimes those can be a little harder to project. For instance, Birthright is $1,500 a quarter or $5,000 per year. We also sporadically have the option for people to be able to buy monthly, and that monthly rate is between $500 and $600 a month. Okay, and it's a little higher than the quarterly to account for the risk of non-payment or us having to chase down some admin. Either way, I can't definitively say how many quarters a person is going to stay because there's just a 1 quarter minimum. So if a person paid for 1 quarter, technically I cannot predict another quarter of revenue from that person because they're not contractually obligated to pay it. I can, however, say on average, if I have 5 people in a subscription, half of them will renew. And so I could forecast half of that revenue. You see what I mean? So there are some things you can do, but I find the reason people's personal finances are askew when they become business owners is because the business does not have spreadsheets and charts or any kind of KPI that's being tracked. So let's talk a little bit about that in this introductory video about what you want to accomplish with forecasting, okay? What you want to accomplish as you grow in your financial acumen. Bottom line, you need to not only know how much you need the business to make, so that's your break-even point plus profit. There's a number there that your business needs to make. In order to stay solvent, in order to make payroll, in order to save, in order to pay you, the business needs to make a certain amount. That's called the break-even point. That's all your expenses, and don't cheat this. Your expenses includes paying you. So if your prices only allow you to pay your team, but not pay you, then they're not sustainable prices. That's not a sustainable model. You either need more leads or higher prices or something. So 1, you need to know how much money you need. 2, you need to know how much money you're slated to receive. So what's on the books already that's contractually obligated. And then 3, you need to know what is the gap. So let's say Unapologetic Wealth's break-even point is $20,000. That includes paying me, paying Terica, paying my CFO, paying my marketing consultant, setting money aside for taxes and savings, all of our software and expenses, miscellaneous bank transfers, and our SBA loan, and my Amex credit card. Let's say that's $20,000. Okay, well, I can look at my next month's forecast and say, we don't have $20,000 on the books already. We've only got $8,000 on the books. So now I know my gap is $12,000, and I know that before the month starts. I find that so often I run into people who set these revenue goals every month and they never hit them. And I always wonder why. It's because there's not really any kind of system to hit them. They're tracking the number. Yeah, when someone pays me, I'm tracking that dollar amount, but they're not tracking the KPIs that lead to that number happening. For instance, I happen to know that if I do 10 Facebook Lives, I will land a client of some sort into a program. I know that. I happen to know that our sales pages convert around 3%. I know that. So if I need 10 sales of a certain offer, and I know that 3% of the people who land on this page will buy, then I can do some simple math to figure out how many people need to see this page before 10 people will buy it. But a lot of times I find that we don't have that data readily available to us. And so we guess. We're like, well, I think this is enough marketing. I think this is enough posts. I think this is enough. I think this is enough. I think this is enough. I want you to know. And yeah, you're going to have to get nosy. You're going to have to go down in your data, right? For instance, that means for me to get 10 people to buy, I need about 320, 330 people to view that page. So then my next step becomes obvious, right? I need to post all the time. I need to send emails out with the link to the page, because if I know that that page converts at 3%, it just becomes a numbers game of getting enough eyeballs on the page to make the 10 sales. And if I know making 10 sales is going to create $20,000, now we're at our breakout even point. So now I know that I can get paid. But if I'm only tracking the dollar, saying how close am I to 20,000, how close am I to 20,000, that doesn't benefit us in any way. We don't have enough data to be able to do something different. And this is why you'll meet people who've been in business 10 years who'll say things like, I don't know what kind of marketing works. We're not tracking the right KPIs. And a KPI is a key performance indicator. It's just a piece of information. Okay? That's it. To be able to help you get an outcome. All right. So when it comes to forecasting, it's really about having a clear, realistic plan. Okay. It's not so much about the tool. Yes, spreadsheets are a thing. You'll have access to a spreadsheet, but you need to be able to predict your future income based on like seasonal trends. There's significant seasonality in my business. There may be seasonality in yours, past performance, and your current leads. So if you know that your busy season is Q4, it would make sense for you to project more of your revenue in Q4. So if you want to do $200,000 next year, but you know that in May of this year, you made basically nothing. And December of this year, you think you're going to, December of last year, you did 50,000. You got a seasonal business. You got seasonality. And so it doesn't make sense for you to try to spread your $200,000 out evenly month over month. It would make sense for you to put more into your busy season because of past year performance. Your current leads are important as well. You should definitely be tracking your pipeline to know who is in the pipeline, where are they at, are they still interested, are they moving forward, have they been sent a proposal, have we had a sales call, how close are your people to closing. Now, the more digital and hands-off your offers are, the harder it is to track leads. Anytime somebody buys a course from me, I'm always surprised because those people just go to my site, they go to my post, they look at all the stuff, and then they get on there and then they buy it. A lot of times the people who buy my course have not interacted with me in any meaningful way. But for my VIP days, for my 30-day sprints, for my private coaching, typically I have seen or heard or been around these people. So as a current lead, they can impact my forecast. Okay. And that way you can plan for months ahead. And if you're going to be short, you're going to be short beforehand. I can tell you right now, I'm going to be short Q4. And that is why we will probably have a free webinar of some sort. There will probably be a free webinar to drive people to see more of my face, to get more eyeballs on the pitch, to tell more people about Birthright so that we can get closer to the enrollment number that we need to make sure that we hit our Q4 revenue goal. Or I could say, you know what? I'm going to leave Birthright like it is. I'm going to sell more people into my private services. Or I could do some combination of the two. Either way, I'm not blindsided because I already know based on the forecast that I have for the following months. So don't get yourself too caught up in the numbers just yet. I just want you to understand what your objective is. The reason that you feel this tension with money is because you don't know where it's going to come from. And that would make anybody nervous as hell. Not just you. Okay. So, next time we will talk specifics about what that kind of forecasting and budgeting process looks like. In the meantime, I am so thankful and honored to have shared this space with you. I hope that it illuminated some things for you. Until next time, bye.